You are listening to our podcast, Conservation Calls, an awesome Mohammed bin Zayed Species Conservation Fund initiative.
Yeah, but why are we really making this?
Because we need to make sure that everybody knows that the care we give, the earth we keep.
That's right. Let's also tell them about
the Mohammed bin Zayed Species Conservation Fund.
Hello everyone, or as we say, Ahlan wa Sahlan. It's your two favorite adventurers, Noor and Mira.
Before we get to today's awesome story, did you know that the Mohammed bin Zayed Species Conservation Fund has made a huge impact by successfully supporting over 2,800 projects across 170 countries, where they have done an amazing job discovering, reintroducing, and protecting over 1,700 species from extinction.
That's so cool. Today's story is about one of those projects. Are you ready? Let's go meet our explorers.
Assalamu alaikum, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Adam and I'm from Egypt.
The name's Andrew and I'm from the UK and the Philippines.
Namaste. My name is Agrita and I'm from India.
Assalamu alaikum. My name's Wanya from Pakistan.
Hey everyone, I'm Jemima from Nigeria.
Hello everybody. My name is Smayan and I'm from India.
Hey guys!
Hello! Good to be back for another Conservation Calls episode. It's been a while. What have you guys been up to since our last podcast?
Loads. Exams, sport, and most importantly, getting ready for the summer holidays. But a big highlight was when my family and I went last Eid to Abu Dhabi to visit the National Aquarium. It was a super cool experience.
Oh wow, I'd love to go. I've never been there. What do they have?
Over 330 different species and more than 46,000 animals in total, and lots of cool fish. I was completely mind blown.
Thinking about fish makes me hungry. I love fish fingers and dip mine in a mixture of ketchup and mayo. Yummy.
Stop it, Adam. But yes, you have a point. Fish are super important. They support the livelihoods of 10 to 12% of the world's population. But that's not all. They also keep the balance by controlling populations of smaller fish, crustaceans, and plankton. Plus, they provide food for bigger fish, seabirds, and marine mammals like whales.
Talking about whales, they don't have any at the aquarium, but I ended up falling in love with the biggest mammal they have that almost looked like a mermaid, but was actually called a manatee. There were two manatees, Sengu and Nyokhoti, which means hope. Sengu was named after its joyful behavior and bold personality and enjoys doing happy spins in mid-water. Look here, I even took a little video.
Oh wow, that is so cool. You're right, it does kind of look like a mermaid.
One of my favorite movies is The Little Mermaid. I love when Ariel says, "You're not getting cold fins now, are you?"
The manatees we saw didn't have fins like a dolphin. Instead, they had flippers, which act as feet when they're eating. It's really cool and very different. While we were staring at the manatees, this very friendly lady started talking to us. It turned out that she was a world expert on manatees.
Hi, I'm Lucy Keith-Gine, the director of the African Aquatic Conservation Fund.
It was so much fun talking to her. Turns out she lives in Senegal in Africa, and they're using the manatees at the aquarium to get a better understanding of their behavior in the wild. She was telling us all kinds of cool stuff.
So manatees are a large gray marine mammal that lives in both salt and fresh water. There are three species, the West Indian manatee, Trichechis manatus, which is split into two subspecies, the Florida manatee and the Greater Caribbean manatee, as well as the Amazonian manatee, Trichechis ananguis, and the African manatee, Trichechis senegalensis.
Hey Adam, I bet you won't be able to pronounce some of those species.
There are three species of manatees, the Trichechis manatus and the Trichechis senegalensis.
Adam. Back to the mermaid story. Apparently, in Africa, there's a folklore, an urban myth of a woman that fell in water and became a spirit and embodied a manatee. They call it the Mami Wata. Although, in African myth, it means water mother. It's like a mermaid. They also believe that this spirit or mermaid supplies fish to the fishermen, and for that reason, the manatee is sacred in some parts of Africa. Lucy was also telling us that women and children in many villages along the Senegal River say that manatees come to play with them while they're washing dishes or swimming in the river. Apparently, they even have a song they sing to call the manatees. Sadly, for every one person that tries to save them, they face 5 challenges, and it's believed that there are less than 10,000 individuals left.
The main threats faced by African manatees is direct hunting, although it's illegal in every country where the manatee exists in Africa. It's still happening in most countries. Also, as I mentioned, fisheries bycatch, manatees getting caught accidentally in nets, and when that happens, they are almost never released. The fisherman generally kills and eats them. Dams are also a pretty grave threat in some of the river habitat, particularly the Niger River, the Senegal River, and new dams are coming in lots of parts of Africa that are isolating manatees into smaller and smaller segments of habitat. As well, they can be trapped in dam structures and killed. Another threat to them is habitat destruction through, for example, cutting of mangroves for firewood or other needs, as well as coastal development overall is reducing manatee habitat.
I read that manatees are like the gardeners of the ocean and rivers. They munch on seagrass and plants, which helps the plants grow better. Plus, their feces make great food for baby fish. Other fish also nibble on the algae that grows on manatee skin. So if you see manatees, you know there will be a lot of fish around. This is something people in Africa have known for a long time.
On that note, we need a break to catch our breath. We'll finish the story on the other side of this.
While they take a breather, here's something I bet you didn't know about manatees.
Manatees have exceptional navigational abilities. Imagine that you live in dark, murky, or muddy water, so you can't see well. Yet manatees navigate seasonally hundreds of miles to their favorite feeding, freshwater drinking sites, breeding, and in Florida, warm water sites in winters. So how do they do it? We know that manatees follow each other and that mothers take their calves to important places over the 2 years of dependency that the calf spends with its mom. So it's clear that they communicate with each other about important sites, but how do they navigate to them over and over across hundreds of miles? Nobody actually knows. Clearly, they can't depend on sight in murky and muddy water, so some people have hypothesized that they may be able to taste the difference in different waterways, similar to the way salmon navigate back to the rivers they're born in. Or maybe, like their elephant cousins, they have fantastic memories. African manatees are the only manatee known to regularly eat fish and mollusks in addition to plants. So far, researchers have identified 20 fish species and 9 mollusks or clam and mussel species and 103 different plant species that are eaten by African manatees.
Back to the story. There is light at the end of the tunnel for all the manatees around the world, thanks to the Mohammed bin Zayed Species Conservation Fund in partnership with the aquarium and Lucy and her team. Working together, they are trying to make a difference. Our guide, Anne, told us how.
Hola, my name is Anne Valentina Bourbon, and I am the Education and Conservation Manager at the National Aquarium in Abu Dhabi. When we relocated these manatees from Seoul, the idea was that they would become ambassadors for their cousins in the wild. Because these animals are very shy, the aquarium provides them with a sanctuary that closely mimics the manatee's natural habitat, prioritizing their health and well-being, while offering unique opportunities to researchers like Lucy and her team to closely observe their behavior and ecology. We also want our visitors to fall in love with the animals and tell their friends and family to spread the message of conservation.
Oh, wow! I'll go tell all my friends!
Adam, look at you go, Mr. Worldwide.
It's so clever, since there's this thing called 6 degrees of separation.
What's that? Does it have to do with the angle of the sun?
No, Adam, it means that everyone in the world is connected through just 6 or fewer people. So you could know someone who knows someone and so on until you reach anyone on the planet.
So by telling my friends, I might be talking indirectly to the locals in Senegal?
Yep, something like that. And Lucy also mentioned that outreach is a huge part of her conservation effort to protect manatees around the world.
The steps involved in manatee conservation are generally to excite people in a place to understand that they have manatees, that they're important for the ecosystem, and that we need to protect them. And we do this generally through outreach programs with schools, radio and television interviews, magazine articles, just any way that we can reach people in different countries to make them aware that they have manatees for one thing, and also just that they're important parts of the ecosystem. It's also important for us to convince more young researchers to get involved in manatee protection, get into the field and help them and support them to do their work, to learn about manatees.
Humans have such a huge role to play. Together, we can do so much more.
Absolutely, I completely agree. But it starts with our generation.
So I can become a manatees researcher?
Yes, Adam, but you will need to focus a little bit more in class. But Lucy is again a step ahead.
We do have manatee researchers in about 17 countries now, but they really struggle to find support, and so without being able to support themselves, they can't continue their conservation work. But when we do find support, people are doing amazing things to conserve manatees, create protected areas, learn about the species, learn about what their habitat needs are, what they eat, even their genetic diversity.
Lucy's job sounds so amazing. She works with cool species, amazing people, and does not sit behind a desk all day.
Funny, you should mention that. When we asked her what she loved about her job, her answer totally nailed it.
Well, there's several things that are the most satisfying part of my job. One is seeing African manatees in the wild because it's quite rare. We're really lucky when we get to see them. But I would say that overall, seeing the growth and increase in people working with African manatees over the past 10 years, and how excited some young African researchers in particular have gotten to work with the species, and how that work is continuing, is for me the most satisfying part of my job.
The aquarium is now at the top of my holiday to-do list. I can't wait to see Senegal doing backflips to show his love for all the help he and his friends are getting.
Remember, the care we give, the earth we keep. Yes, tune in for next time. We'll be back with more epic stories. A special thanks to the Mohammed bin Zayed Species Conservation Fund for helping us make a more sustainable planet. Thanks for listening. Bye!